Hello everyone and welcome back. If you follow gaming in any way, I'm sure you've heard of this one. I have been so hooked on it. I literally can't stop playing, so I decided to make a video on it. This is Palworld and it's made by Pocket Pair, the developers of Craftopia. The game released in early access on the 18th of this month and already has over 88,000 reviews, resulting in a very positive result on Steam. It's also free if you have Xbox Game Pass. Despite being early access, I have to say it is very much well enough developed to be purchased and played right now. The best way to describe it is a mixture of some sort of automation game like Factorio, a survival and building game like Ark, some elements reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, and a monster collector such as Pokemon, although it reminds me more of Pixelmon, the Pokemon mod for Minecraft, because of the crafting elements. Like in Ark, you can customize your game to your liking when you create it for the first time, which is nice. From how much XP you earn, to how long the day-night cycle time is, to how easily you can catch pals. The default game mode for death is to lose all inventory and gear when you fail, but I chose to keep all that on because I'm not all about that. You can change these at any time, which is also a nice feature. The character creator isn't packed full of options, but the characters are super cute. I really like the style. This game has a multiplayer feature complete with official servers in several different regions and the ability to host your own private server. According to the PAL deck, there are currently 111 pals to find and catch. There's a hunger system, a hot and cold system, tools and weapons can break, but they are repairable at a repair bench. As in other survival type games, you start out with nothing, in the middle of nowhere. You slowly collect resources to make basic tools, weapons, and then eventually make a PAL box, which in turn creates your base. The main point of the game is to level up your base by meeting certain criteria, unlocking crafting recipes, gear, and even weapons as you go, catch as many pals as you can, and go through the world battling bosses that are within these towers. As you level and explore, you unlock tech points and go down the point tree, unlocking different recipes for crafting. As you catch pals, more items in the tech tree specific to that pal unlocks. For example, I caught an alpaca type pal and then unlocked the ability to spend a tech point in alpaca saddle to be able to ride it. Or for my fox parks, once I caught that, I unlocked the harness, which meant I could then hold my fox like a dang flamethrower. There is also a stat leveling system so you can upgrade how much weight you carry, your attack, your stamina, etc. There are also several decorative house items you can spend points in to decorate your house. I haven't spent any of my points in these since I am playing solo and I want to save my tech points on things I actually need. Lesson learned from Ark. Speaking of house building, the building system is really nice. It's easy and doesn't require a ton of materials, meaning that you can add to your home and customize it without having to farm materials forever. Here's my house. I think it's cute and cozy, but roomy enough to decorate if I do get some later. You can also deconstruct items, which gives you the materials for that structure back. So if you place something somewhere and you decide you want to move it, you can easily do so without wasting any materials. And while I'm on the subject of crafting, one feature I fully appreciate is that you don't have to have all the materials in your bag to craft. As long as you're on your base, the game takes into account all the materials you have in your chests. This is so convenient, especially since when you're away, your pals are working hard at filling those chests full of items. Also, as you level, you unlock the ability to have more than one base. I was so excited to start my second base once I unlocked the ability to have one, although I wasn't looking forward to having to level a brand new one. But to my very happy surprise, it was the same level as my first one right off the bat. The two bases do not share an inventory, however. Much like Pokemon, the pals have types, such as normal, fire, ice, water, etc. And of course, there's the system where types are stronger against certain types or likewise weaker. Unlike Pokemon, however, this game is different in that you battle alongside your pals, and the wild pal you're fighting has no problem in targeting you and bringing you down. This is refreshing and fun, even though most of the time I hide while my pals do all the fighting. Another really cool thing is that each pal has personality traits. What I mean by this is you could have 6 or more of the same pal, but each one of them could have different passive perks. such as my 6 foxes. The one I had in my party before had a bad passive trait of being hungry all the time, but I had another one that had a perk of having plus 30% attack and negative 50% workload. I don't care about the work efficiency since it was going to be used for battling, so I switched the foxes out. The game also rewards you for having multiples of the same pal. You get XP bonuses for catching 10 of the same pal. Another benefit of catching several of the same pal is that you have the potential to combine them together to create a more powerful version of that pal. You have to use the rare ancient civilization point to unlock the contraption to do it though. Okay, I mentioned work efficiency, and this is where the automation comes in. You can assign pals to work on your base. The higher you level your base, the more pals you can have working on it. Pals will farm for you, chop trees, mine stone, and even farm for themselves. For example, I built a ranch plot and my sheep type pals who I had assigned to work on my base automatically went in there to graze and create wool. My chicken type pals go to graze and lay eggs. My penguin type pal has water abilities, so it manages planting berries and watering them. The pals will then place the food in their own feeder because yes, they have to eat just like you do. Not all pals can do all jobs though. On their menu, you can see from here what they can do while assigned to the base. This pal can do logging with an efficiency of 2. The higher the number near this ability, the faster they are at doing it. This vanworm, for example, has kindling 1 and transporting 3. That means it can cook, use the furnace, light torches, and will also carry items into chests for storage. Most crafting workplaces have to have a pal to craft. Like with the cook pot or furnace, you must have a fire type pal with the kindling ability to craft the item you want to make. This is my Arsox coming to cook me some pancakes. Yum. Food can go bad over time, but you can eventually build a fridge to keep them good for longer. For your fridge, you need a pal with a cooling ability to keep them fresh. Thanks, Sweepa. He's so happy doing the job too. Look at his cute face. Pals also help you build things and craft items, if they have the handiwork ability. Crafting alone can take upwards of 3 minutes, but when they all swoop in to help, it reduces the time by quite a bit. They deplete their energy, called SAN, or SAN, whenever they battle or do work. To replenish this energy, they need to sleep in a bed or eat. If a pal gets knocked out, placing them in the pal box will return them to life after 10 minutes. Pals can also get injured or even depressed, in which case you have to give them medicine to make them better again. Even though the game is centered mostly around the pals, there's a lot to do. The world is huge. I have played a total of 24 hours so far, and I'm not even close to having the whole thing explored. The nice thing though is that there are fast travel pillars you unlock as you explore, and you can travel back to your base at any time using these. You also get tech points for finding the pillars, so that's nice. You can also fast travel directly from your base, so you don't have to worry about running or flying a huge distance every single time you need to go back to base. Speaking of exploring, there's so much to find. From chests everywhere packed full of goodies, to random pal eggs you can pick up and put in an incubator to hatch. There's also camps full of operatives that keep a poor pal prisoner that you can release, which sends them to your pal box. Caves and dungeons, boss fights, and random bosses throughout the map which you can battle and catch. I found this giant dragon egg in a higher level area. Let's just see real quick what it hatches to be. Wow, that is a huge dragon! Oh my gosh! Some complaints I've seen that people don't like is that you actually fight the pals and quote unquote unalive them, but they're more so just knocked out. People are also angry, saying it's a ripoff of Pokemon, as a lot of the pals do closely resemble them. The devs have even gotten threats regarding this issue. It's not an exact copy of the game, and this game is really good. As a huge fan of the Pokemon franchise myself, I appreciate that a team decided to make a game we've all been wanting for years. Some of my own personal complaints I have are small ones. I have run into a few bugs, which is to be expected in an early access game, so I'm not complaining too much. I've fallen through the world a time or two, and my pals will sometimes bug out and get confused on their tasks. Nothing too game-breaking though. Although, if I had my settings where I lost all my items when I was forced to respawn, falling through the world would be a very different, very frustrating story. I would like to see a few things implemented into the game, such as the ability to have a filter on chests so that pals will only deliver certain items to a certain chest. I like to keep things organized and tidy, and it sucks to find my chest that's supposed to only have stone and wood filled with coins, seeds, and other random items. Granted, that could be later on in the game, and I just don't know it yet. One thing to keep in mind also is that later on in the game you do unlock weapons such as guns, and there are some small adult humor type Easter eggs. The name of this duck Pokemon, for example. Very tame, but worth mentioning. As I said before, I'm about 24 hours into gameplay and I have not scratched the surface. I'm only level 22 out of the 50 that the tech point tree goes to. I've only defeated one tower and have several more pals to catch, as well as tons more map to uncover. I am taking my time because I am enjoying it so much. I could go on and on with the cool features of Palworld and how much promise it has, but that would make a very long video. As long as the devs listen to the community and keep up with development, I think it could go a very long way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little snippet of Palworld. Let me know down in the comments if you've played the game, or if you plan to. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and until next time, bye guys!